It's Monday in Tryon, North Carolina, and it just seems like there's always a new scam. Tonight on the news, it said that people were getting master keys for gas pumps, going into the gas pump and actually putting skimmers on the inside where you could never detect that they were attached. I always check the gas pumps carefully to be sure there's one that's not been overlaid over the actual skimmer that's on the outside. But now there's no way of getting inside to see if they've attached one in there. But where does the oil company, where does the gas station not have some responsibility in this? If their pumps are that vulnerable, wouldn't a simple security tape be a very easy answer? They make those for sealing computers so that if somebody's tampered with the insides, you know immediately the tape's been broken. Why can't they put those on the gas pumps? And in doing so, they could have an employee check every 4 hours or so to be sure that the tape wasn't broken and the pump hadn't been tampered with. And then as I was coming on my computer tonight, I got a so-called video message from SkyVLV.com coming across my Skype setup. And every appearance is that that's a scam also, somebody trying to get access into your Skype connection. Well, there's lots of things that we can learn about the evilness of man, but I think it's even more important that we learn about the evilness of Satan himself. And there's 3 lies that I want to make you aware of that Satan tells. You'll find all 3 in the book of Genesis, right at the very beginning, with Adam and Eve in the garden. And of course, there's lots of jokes about Adam and Eve in the garden. Eve ate Adam out of house and home. God created man and then said, but I can do better, and then created Eve. God said that he created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and then he created woman, and man or beast haven't rested since. So in any case, here we are in the Garden of Eden. In chapter 3, verse 1, line number 1, God said, don't eat from any of the trees in the garden. That was a lie. Don't eat from any of the trees in the garden was not at all what God said. There was only one tree that he forbid them from eating, and that shows that there's no question he worked on man's flesh, creating doubt about what God said. And certainly he does that with people today. That's why the devil doesn't want you to read the Bible. He doesn't want you to know what God said. He wants you to have doubt about what God said and what he didn't say. Lie number 2 came in chapter 3, verse 4, where he said, you'll surely not die. Well, we know that God said just exactly the opposite. Just one word was changed. God said, you'll surely die. Satan said, you'll surely not die. And Satan would like us to believe that God is just trying to scare us. When we talk about a literal heaven and a literal hell, Satan wants us to believe that that's just a scare tactic, that there really isn't a literal hell, a place of torment. And he's, of course, having us to come into a denial about what God says. Line number 3 is found in Genesis 3:5, where Satan says to Eve, your eyes will be opened and you'll be like God. He was approaching the pride of man. Now, we know that Adam was right there in the garden with Eve because he quickly ate with her. But he doesn't work just on trusting whether or not God said something, or doesn't want us to just doesn't want us to think that God doesn't want us to be happy. But here in the 3rd lie, he deals with the pride of life. God doesn't seem to want you to succeed, is what Satan is saying. There's a delusion that he wants to bring about. And as we look at these 3 lies, God doesn't want us to be happy. God's just trying to scare us. God doesn't want you to succeed. We know that all of these things are lies. And yet, man and woman in the garden looked, they lusted, and they leapt. They leapt right into the consequences of sin. 1 John 2:16 says, all temptation comes to us through the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. The devil successfully uses all three there in the garden, and even today. He causes us to doubt whether or not God wants us to be happy. He causes us to doubt whether or not God really said something or didn't say something, and that God's just trying to scare us. And he continually tries to cause us to think that God doesn't want us to succeed. But I want to remind you that God created us in his own image. And in Jesus, his son, he said, I've come that you might have life and have it abundantly. He wants to save us from the pain, the difficulties that come with sinning. And he wants us to know what he said so that we can accurately report what he said. And the only way to do that is to read the Bible, to read what God actually said, and to learn the things that he said. Well, don't be trapped by the devil. I hope you won't be trapped by those Skype messages. Hope you won't be trapped by the gas pumps that have been set up to scan your card and to get all your credit card information. But most of all, I pray you not be susceptible to the lies of the devil, because he is a great liar, and he will certainly cause you to question. That's your thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.